Being organized in a small compact space has always been an issue, trying to find where I can store things up in the rafters and things like that. But one problem was I would always keep tools down on a shelf. So if I needed a grinder or a sander, I would have to take it out, set it up, plug it in, use it, clean it off, put it away, and I would immediately need it again. So I needed some way to have the tools out and ready. And for something like my miter saw, I had a wood stand. I made it out of 2x4s, and that's fine for that because I keep moving it around when I need it. But I saw online some people were building stands out of steel. They were using a car rim for the base. There's 2 places you could find them. I found 7 of these rims, which is why I built 7 tool stands on Craigslist for 30 bucks. Some guy was selling them, they were bent, and 30 bucks I got 7 rims. Otherwise, they were going to be 10 bucks each from a junkyard. The next thing was finding steel for the actual stands. Now, before I went and bought the steel, I had to determine what tools I was going to use, how high the plates needed to be, and how high the tools needed to be. If you look, all of these tool stands are different heights, and the plates on here are different sizes. So I got all the tools out that I wanted to do. I laid them on a big sheet of brown construction paper. I traced out the base plates where I was going to mount the bolts, and I determined the height. So a drill press, I wanted it to be this height. The bandsaw this height, which meant that the bases had to be different heights themselves. I went to a metal scrapyard nearby, and I was able to get, for $70 total, I got 12 feet of this Schedule 80 heavy duty 4-inch steel pipe, and I think a 14-foot by 11-inch wide thick 1/4-inch steel plate. So for 70 bucks, I got all the steel, 2 tools that were laying around, and so all of this together was 100 bucks. Now, when I went there, you do have to bargain. If you're going to go to a scrapyard, they weigh it out. They say, okay, that weighs so much, it's going to be $200. And I was like, I'm not spending that. I talked to the manager, and he's like, how about 70? I said, sure. So definitely don't spend whatever they tell you at first. Kind of bargain and say, hey, what about this? What about that? Now, if you're going to do this, I have a small little, the $90 flux core welder from Harbor Freight. I could have done it with that. But I have a buddy that's a welder, and he is a really good welder, and he has an oxyacetylene torch, and there's no way I could have made these without that oxyacetylene torch. A cutting wheel and a grinder, it would have taken forever. We made these working together. You can make a couple of stands, but if you're going to make 7, you better have the right tools. And after coming back from his garage the next day, I had to clean up all the rust. These pipes had been sitting out for who knows how long. They were all covered in rust. So I had a couple grinding discs. I got these from Harbor Freight. I got the multi-pack. There's a pack of 2 of these brushes and 2 of these. For 9 bucks, I got 4 of them from Harbor Freight, and they look to be just as good, and they work great. So then I had all the rust off. I brought them down here, and I put oil and WD-40 on all the pipes I found a really cool trick that you can do for clear coating steel, and that is with this right here. It's Penetrol by a company called Flood. And a lot of guys that do rat rods and stuff like that, rusty metal painted hoods, you just paint this right on top. This stuff went on, and it's rock solid, smooth, shiny, and it has a great finish to it. And I've totally changed my mind about painting them. I just clear coated the metal, and that's what you see. The last thing I did was on the bottom, I took some felt and my hot glue gun, and I hot glued a felt ring on the bottom of all these. That way, when I set them down, because sometimes I have to pull them out and slide them around. I don't want to be scraping that metal on the ground. Sometimes I have to pull my bandsaw out to cut with a big board. So with the felt on the bottom, it allows me to slide. I just really like how this setup works. It's mobile, it's customizable. They're going to last forever. It's not like something I build out of wood, even though this is pretty good. And I like having this on wheels for my miter saw, being able to flip up the extension. I love how these turned out, and I'm glad I did it. So let me know what you think. Thanks.
Well, I hope you liked the video you just watched. If you did, feel free to subscribe by clicking the button on this side. You can also check out all the videos I've done, the playlist from things I've built, things I've fixed, home repair, 3D printing, and on this side you can check out a recommended video similar to the one you just watched. And as always, down in the description I'll put a link to my blog, which has more pictures and more information about the video you just watched. Thanks. Well, I hope you liked the video you just watched. If you did, feel free to subscribe by clicking the button on this side. You can also check out all the videos I've done, the playlist from things I've built, things I've fixed, home repair, 3D printing, and on this side you can check out a recommended video similar to the one you just watched. And as always, down in the description I'll put a link to my blog, which has more pictures and more information about the video you just watched. Thanks.